Hey guys, we're back with another video. It is 2025 Wrapped. It has been 2 years since I've done a previous Wrapped, and I still haven't found a better method. But you know what? I like it, so let's go. Starting with January, here we are. I started off the year in Mexico, all over here. Saw this really cool structure, had to get a picture with a thumb. I think most of the year I've been taking photos with a thumb like this, so if you see another one, that's why. One of the main highlights in January was playing basketball with my girlfriend's dad. Got absolutely destroyed. He was a PE teacher and he's still super athletic. Not saying I'm a good basketball player, but my goodness, I was legit giving it my all. Couldn't do anything crazy. Then it snowed. It snowed in Mexico, which was crazy. I got into boxing. I thought I was going to be the next Rocky. I was not. Found a really cool slide. Kind of stuck a little bit, but you know, had fun. I celebrated my girlfriend's birthday. It was Chinese themed. That was pretty sick. Started making pancakes and eggs and stuff like that every morning. Getting into the routine of things. That was pretty sick. Down here we have my green jeans. Probably the last time I've ever had them. I tried reaching out to Levi, who has these green tech jeans. Turns out they discontinued them like 5 years ago, and that was my only pair, and now I no longer have them. Then over here, I was at a park with my girlfriend's dad and her niece and some people, and we're putting a rope in a tree for some reason and swinging on it, and yeah, that was pretty fun. So that was about January. February. So in February, there are some highlights. Most of them included hanging out with my girlfriend. I visited her at her work one time. Went kayaking down a river. That was super fun. As you can see, it's very peaceful on this river. Foreshadowing. Love doing that. And then I went to Cancun. Here we are on the tarmac, or there my girlfriend is. And then here in Cancun, we went to see some cenotes. If you ever go to Cancun, I would recommend going there, in Tulum. Probably the highlight of that trip. The second highlight was these sandwiches. Very big, very tasty. And this dog, legit just a random dog, took a photo of. He just looked like he was living his best life. Here is a hostel we stayed at. It had a pool, lights, music, everything. If you haven't been to a hostel, I would say check it out. In March, it was pretty light. On the far side, went to a Burger King that looked really scary. And then I went to this Chinese restaurant, which, I mean, even in Mexico, they load you up. So it must be universal that they do that. Went to a party. Went hiking and saw some cave drawings. That was pretty sick. I made a video about that in more detail. But yeah, that was actually insane. Went to an arcade called Incredible Pizza, and they actually call it Incredible Pizza, not Incredible Pizza, like you might think in Spanish. It was definitely for kids, but I had fun. And then here's this little, I don't know, foresty road. It was definitely a sketchy road that was no longer in use. Ran down it and surprisingly didn't die. I didn't realize how dangerous that road was until after I had ran it. April was pretty eventful. Went on a few hikes there, and then I went to the Barrancas del Cobre, or the Copper Canyon in Chihuahua, which is 4 times bigger than the Grand Canyon. If you know how big the Grand Canyon is, it's pretty big. The Copper Canyon over here is a space kind of nearby with those really cool rocks. That was pretty awesome. And then since it was near the end of my time in Mexico, I did do this. I think it was like a 6K or something. It was about 1.5 miles. So whatever that is in kilometers. Did that. That was pretty awesome. And then, of course, I did the Ruta del Sol race, which was 3 days of trail running. that was super cool. Met a lot of cool people. Didn't know what they were saying, but had a lot of fun doing it. And then had this nice going away party with my friend Lupio. Well, and some other people, but they're just not in this photo. Honestly, my girlfriend's the best. She set it up, and you know, this is the one last photo of me in Mexico. And then this shoe. I honestly don't get shoes too much, so taking a picture of this one, I thought it looked cool, and I guess a lot of other people thought it looked cool, because this is the only shoe in my life where I've got compliments on it. Saying my choice in shoes are usually made on practical use cases and not necessarily style, but this one has been a great shoe so far. It still looks exactly like that, so pretty happy about that. May, so I'm back in the U.S. Did a lot of work in Oregon, actually. The first two pictures over there, doing some telecommunications related stuff, which is awesome. And then I was like, you know what, I like kayaking so much, I'm gonna get a kayak. Well, actually this is a different kayak, but I got a kayak and started getting into kayaking by myself. And then, what else? Another highlight was going to this piano bar. It was competing pianos. It was awesome. Highly recommend it if you ever go, or know of any location to try it. Probably the biggest highlight though was going to my friend's surprise engagement party and graduation. The graduation part wasn't the surprise. The engagement party was. As you can see, two of my friends are doctors now, so that's pretty sick. And then, again, back on a work trip, driving around into a nice remote little area in Washington right here. And then this is probably one of the first times me and my dad went to work out together, now that I was back in the U.S. And I think, honestly, it was the last time we worked out together because we just kind of stopped going to the gym. In June, so a lot of cool things happened here, pretty eventful. So at this point, I was really trying to start running a little bit more than before. I mean, I was running quite a bit, but just a little bit more. I was doing some trail running, and I saw this little deer, so I took a picture of it. I went to this concert, well, it was like a music festival in a small town, and there was like a Queen cover band. That guy was really good, but really weird looking. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but he had like a ponytail and then bald the rest of the spot, which was crazy. Had Korean barbecue for the first time. I didn't realize how expensive it was, but quite tasty, quite an experience. Also, went bowling, got a turkey in the last frame, but only got a score of 111. So if you can see the irony there, it's like I'm skilled but not skilled enough. I went to a live viewing of Napoleon Dynamite with a friend, and we saw the cast, or at least Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro and the uncle guy. Went to hit golf balls with my dad. First time I've ever done that wasn't at like a Top Golf. That was really fun. Really cool. And then, like I said, with foreshadowing, I went kayaking by myself, wanted to do some river kayaking, didn't realize there's a difference between river kayaking on like a flat, no issue river and a river with a little bit of rapids. So I sank my kayak. I did recover it and I didn't die, so I would say that's a win. And that was probably the scariest thing in my life. Honestly, after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do any whitewater rafting or whitewater kayaking. So yeah, you learn your lessons. Alright, July was also pretty eventful. My girlfriend came to visit just in time, well, I guess not just in time for 4th of July. She came literally probably the next day. But I'll get to that in a second. I got into climbing trees. That was pretty sick. I reclaimed my childhood. That was super fun as an adult. Honestly, if you haven't done it recently, I would definitely recommend doing it. And then I did the ultra marathon. This was the Devil's Gulch race, 50 something miles. I think realistically it was like 52 miles, but my watch died. That's me after with my girlfriend supporting me. That's at the top of one of the peaks that we ran. I walked. I walked and jogged. Let's see, what else? Had some more Korean barbecue because it was so good. At a company event, we went go-karting, and I lost to all my younger coworkers. And then I went to the weekend concert. I was gonna go with my girlfriend, but she didn't have a visa to get to Canada. Yeah, this was in Canada. And so she couldn't go. So I had one of my friends go with me. And yeah, that is July. August, I really wanted a vacation. So I went to Ireland. Probably some of the biggest highlights was the in-flight meal. I've never been on an international flight where I got a free international meal. I actually had like several of those because they got dinner and breakfast. There's a lot of cool things in Ireland. Highly recommend it. Here's some of the cool highlights. Saw this really cool, I think it's a cathedral. And here's one of my sleeping arrangements. Went to UW Huskies game, which was cool, especially being so close to the field. You definitely feel like royalty down there. And then went to Mount Rainier with my sister, which was pretty darn cool. But other than that, it was pretty light of a month. September, okay, I was doing a little cleaning. Around, and I found my old Hot Wheels, and so I was playing Hot Wheels by myself. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I had slowed down on running and got into mountain biking. As you can see down there, you can really see the stance. I'm not good at it, but it is really fun, and it feels like I'm getting healthy every single time I do it. Went out with my aunt and some of her related family from North Dakota. Honestly, I couldn't tell you more about it, but it was fun. It was great. And then over here, I had to start cleaning my parents' roof. Little did I know how long that was going to take over the course of the next couple months, because it was really dirty, and that's one of the parts of the roof. Okay, I know, some of this stuff is more interesting than others, so stick around, more stuff to come. I went back bowling again. This is probably the highest score ever recorded for myself. 155. Oh. And we're back. The craziest thing was, this was unlimited bowling night. So I think I did 15 games, and just randomly, I ran into one of my friends from 4th grade, and I haven't seen him since 5th grade. So it was really cool. It was a really cool night there. But that really wraps up September. October was pretty light. Went to a company event where we did iFly. Super fun. It's super short though. Crazy sensation. If you think skydiving sounds scary, but you kind of want to try it, I would try that first, and then be like, maybe I do want to go skydiving after this, because it is quite enjoyable. Here's my Halloween costume. I was too lazy. I was procrastinating, so I just got like a kid's costume from the dollar store, and yeah, as you can see, it's a little small. At the same time, my girlfriend was getting into swimming, and I was like, you know what? Let me try swimming. I haven't done that. So there I am, looking like a little nerd. That's somewhat intentional. Some of that is just my looks, and whatever. Over here, went to a concert called Slander. First EDM concert. One of my friends invited me, and he was super stoked, and he invited a lot of other friends who were super stoked, And I think after the concert, I was the only one stoked. Everybody else thought it was terrible. I didn't know what I was gonna expect, so when I got it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. One of the highlights though is going to the wine bar with my friend, and that's October. Okay, November. So in November, I went to Nashville. I went to Tennessee. I landed in Nashville and drove around, hung out with some of my mom's cousins, and looked at houses with my mom. I visited my friend who was doing an art pop-up shop at a local cookie place and wanted to support, and that was super awesome. Built a computer before everything got super crazy with computers, so that was good. Went to a Bryan Adams concert. If you don't know who Bryan Adams is, the Summer of '69 guy. Pretty good concert, but was actually even better was Pat Benatar, who was the opener. Seeing such an amazing performance from such an older lady, but in the lens of I really like this artist when I was super young, was such a crazy experience, and probably one of the coolest nights of 2025. Then I went back to Mexico to visit my girlfriend in Chihuahua. But then I went to Oaxaca right after. In December, a majority of my December was saving turtles at a turtle camp. So as you can see here, I'm in Oaxaca at the airport. There was a protest that kind of kept us from going in. So we had to wait there for a couple hours. I did go surfing for the first time. I saw some cool cathedrals. I got so bit by bugs. It was terrible. It was hot and muggy, and would not recommend. If you hate humidity, don't even go to Oaxaca. If you like heat and humidity, it's a great place. I mean, it's a great place anywhere else too. But yeah, here's one of the beaches. Looked really cool. Then went back. Oh, and here's one of the turtles I was saving. Can't skip that part. Back in Chihuahua, we went to a Christmas parade, which was sick. And then, oh yeah, so I got engaged. That was super cool. And then I had one of these. It's called a Dayuda, I think. And, oh, probably the coolest thing, I saw a lightning bug for the first time ever. Craziest thing. If you've never seen one in real life, that is insane. So that's my year. Crazy year. Did not expect most of that to happen, but, you know, that's pretty sick. But wait, there's more. Alright, so I wanted to show some stats. I don't know how well this will show up on the screen, but in sports wrapped, I ran 279 miles. I biked 225 miles. I swam 6.3 miles. I hiked only 13.7 miles, which I'm supposed to be a hiker, but I barely did that this summer, so kind of crazy. Miles walked. Miles walked is 37, but that's because I'm recording it. It's not actually recording all the time. I'm actually just walking around. I have to I'm going on a walk, so there's that. Miles traveled in water sports. So that's like kayaking. What is this called? Paddle boarding. All sorts of stuff. 13.95. Miles traveled in racket sports. 8.7. And most of that was pickleball. Oh shoot. Did I even talk about that? Where is that? I totally forgot. In May, my friends all got into pickleball for like 2 months. It's super fun. If you haven't tried it, get into it, and don't flame out on it. It's really fun. Okay, back over here. Oh, so racket sports. Somehow I'm traveling that far with all the racket sports, so that was pretty cool. And then miles traveled in team sports like soccer. I think that's the one I did the most. Probably basketball too. 11.4 miles. And then gym time, again, rarely in the gym. So 23 hours and 35 minutes. So cool. Sleep wrapped. Again, it might be a little faint here, but my average sleep score throughout the whole year was 81. Highest 95. Not honestly that great. Going down here to sleep duration versus sleep need. Average sleep time is 7 hours and 18 minutes, whereas what I actually need is 8 hours and 8 minutes. So I don't know if you can see these green bars, but there's not that many. So maybe next year I should work on getting more sleep. Okay, now we're getting into Spotify Wrapped. Over here you'll see two charts. I was using two accounts, one by myself and then one was a family account that I had to make a whole new, I couldn't figure it out. So here's the stats. Basically 12,000 minutes worth of listening, so really not that much. But what is cool is The Weeknd being my top artist, followed by Blake Shelton, Post Malone, Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran, Tory Lanez, and Hugar, which is crazy. I don't even know how it made that list. Again, I don't even know. He just does classical music or something like that. So interesting. Yeah, I would say The Weeknd, Post Malone, and Blake Shelton honestly have been in rotation nonstop all year. But with The Weeknd really taking that top spot by a landslide, I believe. As you can see in this other section right here, the top 5 songs are all The Weeknd songs from his newest album. Okay, YouTube Wrapped, because we all know we want to figure that out since we're on YouTube. This I feel like is super personal. Top creator, Penguin Z0 or Moist Critical, Linus Tech Tips, Game Ranks, Patrick CC, and Short Circuit. Pretty crazy. Honestly, I feel like this is just kind of generated by time watched, not necessarily percentage based watch. Like if I watch a small creator and I watch all their videos, but they just don't have that much time over the span of the year, they might be bumped out of the list by someone else. Because like, I mean, Moist Critical, he does a video like every day. So, you know, he's got a lot of content to watch. But yeah, okay. And then over here, top interests, new tech, video games, running, gaming, and fitness. Honestly, I didn't expect that, but yeah, there you go. Now you really know a lot about my life. But you know what I want to know? I want to know about your life. Leave about your life in the comments below. And I hope to see you next year in 2026. More videos to come. Literally tomorrow, another video. And then another week later, another video. I swear. Thank you guys for watching this super long video. My goodness, and bye.